Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerials podcast, now with the Digital Network. How's it going, guys? Hope you're having an amazing day. Before we get started, lots going on at Wrap Your Head Around Silks. Check out the show notes. We've got Roll It Out. We've got teacher training going on. We've got a big course for beginner and intermediate. We've got an aerial rehab course. I've got a free mini course on there if you just want to check out my teaching style. And I'd love to work with you. Love to be your virtual teacher. All right. So today we have Heather Berry. She's in the Ohio. She's in Ohio. I am an Ohioan, so it's always awesome to talk to my Midwest aerialists. And she has now a daughter who is 20-ish months, and she had an unplanned C-section. And she also trained through her pregnancy. So I love adding her story to our collection here of all of our anecdotal stories of our lives, talking about how, doctors don't really know what they're talking about. So we got to figure out some of the gaps by ourselves. But Heather's story is amazing, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. Let's get started. So my bean has a ear infection, the first one she's ever had.
Oh, no. Aw.
And this week's been a little bit of a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I feel you. That was us last week.
With the same thing or just sick?
No, my daughter got a stomach bug like right before halftime at the Super Bowl. So she was sick all night, Sunday night, and then the rest of the week just not herself and still kind of pukey. So we're finally recovered.
Man, the stomach bug is the worst.
Yeah.
Out of all of the things, even worse than this.
Especially when they're not old enough to tell you what's going on. So
Heather, how old is your little nugget?
She is 21 months, almost 22 months.
Oh my God. No, that's terrible, because the first time my bean had her stomach bug, she was already talking and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not quite to the stage. She can say like ow and stuff like that, but she didn't know how to communicate that she wasn't feeling well or if she was about to throw up. So it was a fun few days.
Yeah, it's such an adventure. And then also it's like she just started preschool, which is late. Like she's 4 already, and then, she's like everything's hitting her because she was a COVID baby,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Heather, I know what you've kind of said on the Facebook group when it comes to like C-section stuff, but where do you live?
Springboro, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You live close to Toledo, Ohio. Is that what you said?
It's like south of Dayton.
Okay, south of Dayton. So I'm an Ohio girl too. So I was born not born, but raised in Granville, Ohio, which is where Denison is.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you from there?
I'm from Centerville, which is like the next town over. So been here pretty much my whole life.
Okay, so I haven't lived there in a long time, but for sure Ariel was not a part of my existence there. So
yeah.
So when did aerial become a thing in Ohio? Like that accessible and all that stuff?
So we've been going for about 5.5 years, and I think my gym started just like maybe a few months before that. I didn't really know that it was a thing here in our area until then. So maybe in the last 6 years or so.
So yeah, tell me about your practice, how it started.
It's kind of a funny story. It was just like one of those random things that my friends and I watched like Pink perform or something, and we're like, hey, that'd be fun to try sometime. And then like a couple months later, my friend got me a Groupon for 3 classes for my birthday, and we didn't go until August. My birthday was in May, but ever since then I've just been going and never stopped.
And did your friend also keep on going?
So she and I went to the first class, and we both had a good time. We were like, that was really fun, but it kind of hurt, Like you don't think it's going to hurt, especially the silks, because they look like comfy. So then the second time we went back the next week, we took 2 other friends with us. And the one friend that went with me the very first time, and then the second friend that went the second time didn't stick with it. But then my other best friend and I stuck with it. So she and I have been going together for 5.5 years.
Oh, that's awesome. And what's the studio that you practice at?
It's called Fire and Ice Aerial Arts.
Oh, and you have a nice community there?
Yeah, we really like it.
Oh, that's amazing.
She's grown like hugely since we first started. Like our first showcase, I think we had like 10 performers, and then the last one she had to break it up into 3 showcases because there were so many people.
That's amazing for our industry, you
Yeah.
know? Okay, so you're a mama. Okay. So
Hmm.
you have been doing this for 5 years. Your kid is only 20 some months. So you were pregnant in the middle of all this.
I
Okay. Were
was,
you
yes.
guys trying or was it a surprise blessing, as they call
We
it?
were
Okay.
trying. Yeah. We got married during COVID in 2020. So basically, we had 2 weddings. So we got married in our backyard during COVID, the height of COVID. And then we had our actual wedding in August that year. So basically, after that, we started trying.
Okay. So you started trying. Did it take a long time or?
Um, a little less than a year.
Okay. Was that frustrating or no?
Not too bad. It wasn't like we were like really, really trying until the last few months. So I would say we just kind of let it happen. And then we really tried for like 3 months or so before we got
Like the
pregnant.
timing stuff, like timing with
Mhm.
your ovulation. Do you mind if I ask you how old you are?
I am 32.
32. Okay. So you got pregnant and
Mhm.
did the aerial stop or did you continue halfway through or?
Actually, like the weekend before I found out I was pregnant, we had the rig out in the backyard and we were just goofing around, and then found out I was pregnant a few days later. And then I continued to go. I didn't really tell anybody for a little bit, just kind of had to keep going through the nausea and everything. But yeah, I kept going. Actually, my first appointment with the OBGYN was like the sit down, going through all of the rules and stuff like that. And the NP was like not super happy with the idea of me continuing aerial. I explained to her that I knew like the limitations and I wouldn't do anything that I didn't feel comfortable with, no drops, no belly wraps, all that fun stuff. And I told her how much of a big part it was to my mental health too, and like keeping my anxiety down. So she said that as long as I agreed to go to the ER if I fell and be monitored for 4 hours and just stayed within the limitations, that she would accept it.
You know, people are so funny. They think falling is like a regular thing.
Yeah,
It's not a regular thing.
it's not.
It's like a very, very rare thing, especially if you're
Yes,
not learning anything new.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long did you train through your pregnancy?
I continued to go most of the time 2 days a week until right before 34
Oh,
weeks.
you did pretty good.
Yeah, and the only reason I stopped is because I just felt like I wasn't doing enough to make it worth going. Like I was just like resting over half of the time and
Right.
just getting too tired.
And you have an outdoor rig, you said,
I do.
which is problematic in Ohio if it's like half of the year, right? 'Cause the
Yeah, pretty
weather's,
much. We can't use it a whole lot.
yeah, like right now it's really cold. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, you did great though. That's wonderful. I feel like
thank
for
you.
me, I had a low-lying placenta, so they wouldn't let me do. They wouldn't even let
Okay.
me like carry groceries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh god. Okay, so whatever. But so you had nausea. Second trimester, no nausea, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, second was great.
And then third trimester, you're coming down to the wire.
Hmm. Just mostly just getting huge and tired and couldn't invert anymore. So getting up into the Lyra was a little tricky, but I thought I would be doing more silks throughout my pregnancy. And as I got bigger and more tired, I just started staying on the Lyra more.
The Lyra felt so painful to me when I was pregnant.
Really.
Yeah, like way more than it actually does. So I don't
Hmm.
know. Okay, and you obviously didn't plan to have a C-section.
I did not. No, I have a very crazy birth story if you want
No, that's just what we're here for. So did you have a
to
particular
know.
birth plan or were you just like, okay, I'm just gonna go with it?
No, I didn't really have a plan, just get her out healthy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please do share. This is, I think it's really important for like our general knowledge base for all these stories
Yeah.
for us. So please do tell.
Okay, so I went in for my 37-week appointment, which ended up being like 37 weeks, 5 days, because I always tried to go on Fridays. So I went in for my appointment and I saw the NP again, and she said, "Oh, you have gestational hypertension. So we need to induce you like now between 37 and 38 weeks," which the diagnosis I had technically two high readings of my blood pressure, which I don't necessarily agree with because I was monitoring it at home and it was totally fine. So, anyway, so she told me that I could either come in Sunday night or come in Monday night and be induced, and my doctor was on call Tuesday. So I went in Monday night to be induced. They started everything. I did the 12 hours of the cervical ripening medication overnight. And then the next morning, they started Pitocin. So I was on that. I don't even remember how long during the day. Didn't make any progress on Monday. So Monday night, they did another 12 hours of the cervical ripening meds. And the next morning, they measured me again, and I was still not very dilated. So they decided to try to do the Foley catheter that they fill with the
Mm-hmm.
saline and it tries to expand the cervix. So they did that, and placing that was one of the most painful things that I've ever been through. That was rough. So that was in for several hours, and they would come and check on me and, try to like tug it to see if it came out. So eventually later that afternoon, it came out. So they're like, oh, okay, maybe we're making some progress, might be more dilated now. So then the doctor came in to check my cervix and he's like, nope, you're still only at two
Oh,
centimeters.
that's a long
So at
time.
this point, I'm exhausted. I've barely slept in 3 days. I'm defeated, angry, sad, just all the emotions.
Yeah.
So he's like, we can either keep you here and do another round of the ripening, or you can go home, get a couple nights rest at home, keep working on like walking and doing everything to try to get it to dilate on its own. So I chose to go home. So we went home Wednesday night, Thursday night, came back Friday, and they wanted to do the cervical ripening again. And I was like, can we try the other option for the drug? Because obviously the other one wasn't working. So they finally agreed and let me do the Cervidil that night. So then around 3 in the morning, my water started to break or leak. So they came in and checked me, and they're like, okay, we can go ahead and finish rupturing the membrane now and get your water broken. So I asked for the epidural at that point. So they gave me my epidural, broke my water, and started regular contractions. So I got to go through active labor for a while. And before the epidural was placed, I had pretty strong contractions. So they were just monitoring all of that. And then around 6 a.m., her heart rate started to decelerate. So they coded us and they tried repositioning me a few different ways, getting me on my hands and knees, getting me on my side, which getting somebody on their hands and knees when they've had an epidural is damn near impossible. So
Yeah.
after that, and nothing seemed to help her heart rate, they rushed me back to the OR. And like as soon as we got back to the operating room, her heart rate was stable again. So they just kept me back there for like 15, 20 minutes to make sure that she was going to stay stable. And I think in the meantime, they had given me some sort of medication to slow my contractions or make them less strong. So then they took me back to the delivery or the labor and delivery room and kept me in there for like another few hours or whatever it was. And then around 8 o'clock in the morning, it happened again where her heart rate started decelerating. So again, tried the repositioning. There's all these nurses in the room trying to figure out what's going on. And at that point, when it wasn't recovering, they just decided we're going to take you back and do the C-section. So I'm like in full on panic mode right now. I
Right.
don't know if my husband's going to be able to get to the OR or anything. So they're wheeling me back, trying to keep me calm, get me to the OR. They introduced me to the doctor and say, we're going to try to get your doctor here on time because he was on call that weekend. They're like, if we can keep you stable and get you prepped for the next 15 minutes, then we'll get him in here and have him do the surgery with this doctor. So I get back into the operating room and I'm like weirdly calmed because there's 90s music blaring in the OR, which, like, for some reason, it was just oddly calming. And after a few minutes, they have me like calm down. I'm not crying anymore. They're going through the prep. And then I see my husband come in the door. So he was able to get scrubbed in. And he starts talking to the guy that's running my anesthesia. Like, turns out he used to work with him. So they're
Oh my
like chatting it
God.
up. And then my doctor does end up getting there and does the C-section, and she comes out healthy, screaming. Her numbers were all normal. They had the NICU there just to check her out, just in case, because I did have gestational diabetes as well. So they just wanted to make sure her sugar and everything was fine when she came out. But it turns out that her cord was wrapped around her neck and her ankle. And
Oh,
that's
oh
why
wow.
every time I got the strong contractions, her heart rate would decelerate.
So it's really great that they did the C-section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have been scared to see what happens when you deliver with those wraps around the neck and the ankle. But then the joke was that everybody said she was doing aerial in the womb.
Oh, that's, I guess, on point. So at the end of the day, because the cord was wrapped,
Hmm.
everything's like forgiven in your mind.
Yeah.
But
Yep, I'm just glad she was there and healthy and fine.
because it was kind of a question mark whether or not you even needed to go through all that induce,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
would it have been, it would have been possible to know, would the cord have become wrapped around her neck if you guys hadn't gone through all the things, right?
Yeah, maybe not. I don't
We have
know.
no
I,
idea.
I feel like in today's technology, you should be able to see that on an ultrasound, but that's just my opinion.
That is the question that I keep on forgetting to ask the doctor who comes on here all the time, because I had my kid's neck was at the wrong angle. And my question
Hmm.
is also why they're not doing ultrasounds during labor. And maybe it's because you can't see anything
Yeah.
because the baby's so big. But I have never had that question answered, and I would love that question answered
Yeah.
myself. So, total, if you total the days that you went home and came back, like how long was this labor situation?
So I first went in on a Monday night and then we went home the next Monday. So I had the C-section at 8:34 Saturday morning is when she was born. And then 2 days later we got to take her home, which ended up being on my birthday.
So you guys' birthdays are only 2 days apart.
Hmm.
Okay. Wow.
It's a long story.
No, it's not a great story. And do you would you characterize it as a traumatic birth for you?
For me, kind of. Like, just the long process of the induction, like, I would never wanna go through that again. So, he said something at my post-op checkup about, "We'll get you back and we'll have a VBAC next time," but I don't think I would personally try to go through that. I would just schedule a C-section again if we ever chose to have more children.
Yeah. And I think also, like, if you're the doctor and you're talking to the patient like right after the C-section, like does any woman say, "Yeah, I want to come right back in here"? Like no one, does anybody ever say that? I don't know. Especially not me. But
Yeah.
okay, so the recovery from the C-section, how would you rank it among all the other things?
Um, I mean, there were a few days, like after we were home that were pretty rough. Like I couldn't lay down in bed or on the couch for over a week just because I couldn't like use my core to get back up or in like lowering down because you have to use your abs to like help lower yourself down. I basically had to like sleep and sit propped up with a bunch of pillows in bed for at least a week or two. But like otherwise, I don't think it was too bad. Obviously, it was painful, but I think that might be part of the, like, anesthesia or the amnesia that you get after having a baby.
Yeah, I mean, and every single time I hear another story, it's just such a racket that we're expected to take care of a child after in post-op surgery.
Yeah.
It's just completely a racket, and it's not going to change anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
And it's just like, if you really think about it, like if anybody really thinks about it, you're just like, and you're supposed to
Yeah.
start breastfeeding,
Mhm.
and your stomach's cut open. For me, it
Yeah.
was like, oh, I was so scared to cough.
Yeah, that sneezing, coughing,
Yes.
going to the
Yeah,
bathroom
just
for the
like
first
just
time.
like terrified.
Yeah.
And I did not have regular sutures. I had staples,
Oh,
which I
okay.
don't really understand that choice on the doctor's part. But
Mhm.
I don't know. Are sutures less scary if you cough? I have no ideas.
I I couldn't really see anything. It was like I didn't have any, like, external sutures, and then they just had, like, a clear bandage over it, so it honestly didn't look bad. I don't know how they sewed it up, but I think my husband watched, like, the whole thing
Oh,
because they didn't have, like, the huge curtain. I don't know if it was because it was an emergency one. They just had, like, a little bit, so he was able to watch, like, the whole thing.
I don't know if I'd want to watch if I were the husband.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So okay, yeah, recovery's rough. Mine was only like, again, my amnesia, but like it was a bad week for me. But besides that, it was okay. And
Mhm.
yeah, tell me about after. How was your postpartum? How was your fourth trimester?
Um, well, aside from the recovery, I think it was pretty good. I was off work for, I think, 11 weeks with her. So when I first went back to work, obviously that was rough, but we had a little bit of trouble with breastfeeding at first, just because she wasn't latching right, but we figured it out luckily, right before we left the hospital, we finally figured it out. Didn't gain, she lost like a little bit of weight in the hospital, like borderline too much. And part of me thinks it's because she was born like swollen because I was in the hospital for so many days and on IV for so long. So she was born at 8 pounds, 6 ounces, but she was down to like 7, 11 by the time we left the hospital. And then she didn't get back up to her birth weight for 3 weeks.
Oh
So it
wow.
was a little rough because I like had to wake her up every 2 to 3 hours to nurse her because she needed to gain back that weight. So that was a little hard to like wake her up, nurse her for like 40, 45 minutes, and then go back to sleep for an hour, hour and a half, and then wake her up and do it again. So I was like having to set alarms on my phone to get up. And then she was nursing for so long that I felt like I was not getting any sleep.
Yeah.
But finally, once she gained back that weight, I didn't have to wake her up to nurse her anymore. Just whenever she woke up, which ended up being closer to like 3 to 4 hours. So
Okay.
that was better.
And she wasn't like it wasn't like fourth trimester for you didn't seem as hard as like the birth stuff. It was just
Mm-mm.
normal. Okay.
No. Yeah.
And this is your first kid, I'm assuming. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And now she's 20 some. Is there anything that stands out in the last 20 months?
It's just it goes so fast. Like I know it's like the biggest cliche, but it does. It just like time flies. Like now she's like running and she's talking more every single day. It's like as soon as she hit 18 months, it's just like her vocabulary has just skyrocketed and she's like talking in full sentences. Not that you can understand
Yeah.
everything she's saying, but she's just like jabbering like crazy.
And you have a regular job.
I
You work
do.
40 hours a
Yes,
week.
I
What
do.
is that field? What are you in?
I'm a physical therapist assistant, so I work at an outpatient physical therapy office.
Oh, okay. That kind of probably helps your aerial practice a bit,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is it really hard to leave her for those hours a day?
Yeah, it is. It's still really hard. It was a lot harder, obviously, when I first went back to work. I had a lot of mom guilt leaving her, which made it even harder for me to go back to doing aerial too. My doctor cleared me at my 6 week post-op appointment that I could go back to doing aerial and any other activities that I wanted to. But personally, it took me about 12 weeks to go back, which ended up coinciding more with when I went back to work, which is, I think, what made it harder because I was already going to be away from her for 40 hours for work. And then if I wanted to go to aerial class, then it's another 2 hours away from her. Or if I go more than one day, more hours. But yeah, I had a lot of just mom guilt, not wanting to be away from her for that time.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then um, when you first went back to aerial, what was that like?
Hard.
Oh yeah.
It was really difficult. I could barely do anything. My stamina, my endurance was really low. Like just climbing felt like a feat. But I feel like it didn't take me too terribly long. Obviously, inverting was still really hard. That took a while, but I felt like it just started coming back, like riding a bike just started coming back to me a little bit at a time. And I felt like I needed it.
Do you feel like the physical therapy background helps when it comes to like getting your abs back to getting to fire
Yeah,
and
I think
stuff?
so. Like I will say that we are not the best patients. So I don't do things that I probably should do, but I know like if I do have something that's bothering me, like I can try to fix it or use like proper mechanics. I feel like that gives me a better background on that and like knowing when to engage my core to do different things. But as far as like going back to doing aerial, I don't feel like my abs were like painful or anything, like just weak, and they would get sore, like just getting back into doing inverts and getting onto the Lyra and everything. I was definitely sore when I went back, but they didn't hurt like from the surgery or anything. The only thing that really bothered me for a while was like putting any pressure on it. So any kind of belly wraps or like leaning my, like doing like a hip hang on the Lyra or anything that put pressure on my incision was pretty painful for a while. Even though like the skin surface, like I didn't have all the sensation back in that scar tissue area, just like any kind of pressure on it was painful for a bit.
And did you feel? Oh, sorry. Did you have your separation? Was it like big enough to be a problem? The diastasis recti.
I didn't have too much, no, and I actually did have one of our pelvic floor therapists like assess my diastasis recti, and she said I just had a little bit of separation right above and right below my belly
Yeah.
button, but not anything like super bad.
Okay. Yeah. So you kind of went back and now you've been back for many like over a year. And do you feel like
Hmm.
you're back to where you were before? Or
Yeah, I'd say so.
yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm doing pretty good, especially because now I really only go like once a week regularly. I try to go like during the week one night here and there, but again, the mom guilt and being busy at work and the one to get home to her just kind of plays a part in that too.
Yeah, that's a lot of hours away from baby, for sure. I don't
Hmm.
have a full-time job. I work on my own and I feel like the umbilical cord is still kind of attached to me and my little
Yeah.
bean.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any advice for the arrow mamas out there?
Well, I would say even if people don't approve or are upset with you continuing to do it through your pregnancy, just use your own judgment. You know what's safe and what's not, and what you feel comfortable with and what you don't feel comfortable with. So just be an advocate for yourself and do what you need to do to keep you happy and but still stay safe.
I love it. Heather, have you ever done this before? Have you done a podcast?
I've never done a
You did
podcast.
really good.
Oh, thank you.
You did really good. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking me. I'm honored.
All right, Heather, thank you so much for carving out the time. Everybody's so busy, like full-time jobs, kids, and aero practice, dealing with the cold weather. Oh my goodness, there's just so much that we're all juggling. So I appreciate you guys for showing up to listen and to record and all of that. If you think you'd be great, or if you know someone great for the podcast, please reach out to me. I'm easy to find. Carrie at wrapyourheadaroundsilks.com is my email address, or at CarrieWee1 on Instagram. If you would please honor me with the 5-star rating and review, it really helps people find this podcast. And if you would, share it with your friends and family, people at your studio who you think might get a lot of benefit out of hearing these stories, I would appreciate that immensely. All right, my friends, check out Greener Grass, the podcast I do with Kelly McVeigh. We have so many empowering female stories on there. It is so exciting for me. So if you want to just hear the sound of my voice, if it calms you, hopefully, if it's something to do when you are doing laundry or doing the dishes, I greatly appreciate it, and I hope I entertain you guys. We entertain you. All right, my friends, check out wrapyourheadaroundsilks.com. So many free resources for you there. And I'll see you guys next week. All right, over and out. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Podcast.